What if you felt that your only achievements in life were filled with failures, disappointments, and frustrations that gave you feelings of anger, blame, and resentment? Do you think you'd be able to be happy, achieve much, or help other people be happy in life? Do you think you'd be enjoying life? Probably not. So what happens when we get to that point? What happens when the feelings of being a loser, the feelings of disappointment, the feelings of failure fill your head? How do you hit the switch? How do you get out of that mindset? Jackie Ryan was there. Jackie Ryan's a friend of mine. He's been through a lot. He was there. He completely understands going from point A to point B. And Jackie, if I could just ask you, maybe in between your tryouts with the New Jersey Nets and your tryouts with the Harlem Wizards, you were in a pretty bad place mentally. What were you thinking? What was going through your mind?
It was just like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. I know everybody was looking down at me. I know my brothers and sisters spoke to my mom, who was helping me pay the rent, saying, "Mom, you know, you got to let him go. You can't help him anymore. He's 35 years old." It was a feeling of helplessness. I hated myself. People on the outside might see me in the bars on the basketball court. Oh, look at this guy, this flamboyant, happy-go-lucky guy. But really, deep down inside, I hated myself, and I didn't want to be here. It was a dark, dark place. That's why when I watched my movie for the first time, I had to turn it off. I couldn't watch it because I hated myself at that time. And I just got to, the guy did such a great job, you know, playing Jackie Ryan, that it really turned my stomach. I turned it off and I called the guy that made the movie. I said, "I can't watch this." He's like, "What are you talking about? You have to watch it. Watch it to the end. You change. I said, "I'm going to bed." I went to bed depressed. I woke up depressed, and then I watched it. And yeah, the ending is good. It brings me out of it. And, you know, I am very happy today. And, you know, I'm successful, and people know I'm successful. And, you know, I'm 59, and there's still way more ahead for me to do.
I love that. So when you looked in the mirror at that point, because what I'd like to do is take everybody through that point when you were looking in the mirror and you were saying those things to yourself, and then that point where you started to understand how to make the switch, and then what actions you took. So when you were at that point, you were so disappointed, you were looking in the mirror, what was that self-talk going on? Help, because we all do it, but nobody ever talks about out loud how angry we are. And if we ever let that voice outside our head, we'd probably be jailed, right? For how poor we talk to people. But what was that voice saying to you?
Well, there was just no help for me. I don't even think there was a voice. It was just look in the mirror and look at a bum, look at a guy that's going nowhere. And, you know, it was very depressing and sad. And, you know, I didn't get out of it until I became a Harlem Wizard. And in an instant, everything changed for me. I found my purpose in life, and, you know, it was all good from there. And that was at 37 years old.
So that's amazing. So you were in this environment where you'd think we would all be okay, right? You know, you're in the place, the area you grew up, you're surrounded by people that you know, but that environment, for some reason, isn't helping, right? It's keeping you in this state because you want to be successful for everybody around you, and you feel like you're not being successful. So you just continue to, I think, to push yourself down, and then you step into a situation where it's almost a new environment. So what was the environment like when you stepped onto the Harlem Wizards? What was the first thing you noticed about the environment that sort of began to give you a different feeling?
Accepted. I felt accepted. Half the guys knew I was a good ball player. And, you know, I could do a couple of basketball tricks, but when I got accepted, when they took me in, I said to myself, I'm going to be the best that I can be. I'm not screwing this up. And that's when I went to town practicing day in and day out, you know, basketball tricks. I mean, I'm talking 4, 5, 6 hours a day, just spending time in the gym or the parks, practicing basketball tricks, and with my creative imagination coming up with tricks that no one ever did before. So, but it was all about the positive, and my mindset changed. I knew this is why I'm here on earth, was to be a Harlem Wizard, was to entertain kids, was to inspire kids. And now, I want to inspire adults. But I know I could, because I know a lot of people, went through tough times like I did, whether it was the bad relationship with my father, whether it was, not being, uh, and not being a student athlete. I was an athlete student. I try to tell kids that, which is true. For me, it was all about basketball and then schoolwork. If you want to go places, if you want to go to the next level, whatever sport it is, you want to play college basketball, you got to get the grades. You got to do good in school. So I love talking and helping kids out like that, and I want to do it with adults also.
And I love that. So it wasn't that you, or maybe it was. I mean, so you're in the environment you grew up in, and maybe you didn't feel accepted just because they wanted you to be X and you were Y, for whatever reason. But you stepped onto that Harlem Wizards environment. You stepped into that environment, and they accepted you immediately. The amazing part is you didn't grow up with those guys. You didn't have the same skin color as those guys. You didn't have the same upbringing as those guys. But everybody opened their arms. This entire organization opened their arms, gave you a big hug, and said, "We love you no matter what." And you began to flourish. So the first thing you did was surround yourself with people that accepted you for who you are, and you
Yeah.
were able to be. So help me understand, who were you on that basketball court with those Harlem Wizards versus who were you when you were trying out for the Nets? What was the difference between Jackie Ryan, the person playing with those Harlem Wizards, and then Jackie Ryan, the person trying out for the New Jersey Nets? So your basketball prowess, you're still one of the most elite basketball players in the history. Well, what was different between Jackie Ryan in the Harlem Wizards and Jackie Ryan trying out for the Nets?
And that was all business, all seriousness. You had to be on your game. You had to focus. You had to take, direction from the coaches. Harlem Wizards, it was a joke. Let's have fun. Let's laugh. Let's make silly faces. Let's, spin basketballs on kids' fingers. Let's have fun with basketball. It's all about having fun. And that's all I ever wanted to do, was have fun. And having too much fun got me in trouble when I had to do other stuff, like being a good student, you know, uh, getting in trouble every day, and my father coming home from a long day's work and having to hear that I messed up doing this, or I messed up doing this. I got thrown out of another classroom. I had to go see the principal again. So, yeah, you're talking about New Jersey Nets, serious, be on your game, focus, relax, go laugh and have fun. Whatever happens, happens. You can't get in trouble trying to be funny or trying to do a basketball trick or a trick shot.
Wow. So if I was to tell you, there's a book called Switch by the Heath brothers, it's pretty amazing. And if I can recall the study, so they did a study on, is self-supervision or self-editing, is it an exhaustible resource? So what does that actually mean, right? So it means that, so what they did was they did a room, and I'm making up the number, I don't remember exactly, right? They put 50 of the top, college students, all great people, right? Good grades, into a room, and they said 25 can have a chocolate chip cookie and 25 can have a radish. But they put a giant plate of chocolate chip cookies out there, and they left enough for everybody to have one. So the students that had to eat the radish had to self-supervise and not eat the chocolate chip cookie. The students that got to eat the chocolate chip cookie just ate it, had no issues. Well, then they did, following after that, they realized that all the kids that were told just to eat radishes did just eat radishes, and then all the other kids that eat chocolate chip cookies ate the chocolate chip cookies. But then they gave them a test, and it was a high school test that was unsolvable. But they told them it's a high school test, and for whatever reason, it's going to see who's smarter, high school or college kids, right? And they realized this is going to be mind-blowing. The kids that had the chocolate chip cookie, that didn't have to self-edit, didn't have to self-regulate, didn't have to try to fit into an environment that they weren't comfortable in, spent, I don't know, 25 or 30 minutes doing the test. The kids that had to self-edit and eat the radish and couldn't have the chocolate chip cookies spent an average of 9 minutes on that test. Meaning that the more you have to self-edit yourself, self-supervise yourself, I can't even speak at the moment, the less energy you have in life. So when you were at that lowest point, you were constantly self-editing yourself, trying to fit into everybody else's standard, everybody else's life, everybody else's view of what success was. and you were exhausted. You didn't know, nobody told you this. Nobody said, Jackie, you're exhausted. No wonder you feel this way. And then the minute you stepped into an environment where people were accepting to you, people were loving to you, you no longer had to self-edit or self-supervise. You became this incredible human being. You were allowed to be the person you were born to be. Amazing. Amazing. When you think about, you changed the people you were around, you changed the environment you were in, because you went from the NBA trying out to I guess it's called a semi-pro team, the Harlem Wizards. Obviously an amazing team.
Anytime you get paid to do something, you're a pro. So I'm a pro, not the NBA, but it's basketball. I get paid for basketball.
They're another version of the Harlem Globetrotters. Are an amazing organization, and they just bring joy and love and happiness to people, and you can't ask for more out of life. You got support. You had a platform now to be yourself. So if you look back now and you say what you changed, you literally changed. There's so much you did. You changed your environment. You changed the people you were surrounded by. You changed your support mechanism, and you changed the platform you were using to be yourself. When you were on that basketball court at the Harlem Wizards, who was that person? How did you feel?
The happiest person in the world. Like I said, the kids are my fuel, and I just love to entertain them. I mean, just spinning a ball like that, they're going to go. But, I start doing all this other stuff, and, it's just such a high for me. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like that nun said, you're doing God's work, you're making the children happy. So, and sometimes when I go do a show and we're behind the curtain in an auditorium and you can hear all the kids coming in, right? So guys that I work with, I play on a couple of different teams, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30 in the morning. They're there sitting in a chair like that. I hear the kids, I'm getting so pumped up. Like I'm throwing the ball at the curtain. I'm sticking my head out and making little funny faces when I come in. I have these crazy masks. Like the show starts before the show. Like I can't wait for that curtain to open so I could just do my thing, shine, make the kids laugh, and then hit them with the messages at the end. Because we just tell them messages that their parents and their teachers tell them. But because we do all this basketball stuff, they think we're cool, and hopefully the messages stick.
That's amazing. And what kind of message were you getting when you were trying out? So this is a situation where you actually have religious leaders reaching out to you and saying that you've done amazing, you're doing God's work, you're making a difference in people's life. And then what kind of message were you getting when you were trying to fit into that standard ideal of what a professional athlete was? Was there encouragement, or was it just a lot of criticism about what you need to do better?
You mean like trying out for the Nets?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, my friends and family, it was encouragement. Like, yo, go do your thing. You belong here. And I did, and I prepared for it. But NBA is a lot different than playing at the 14th Street YMCA. They were in better shape than me. They were bigger than me. They were faster than me. But I knew I had skills. When I was 21, 22, I was faster than I was when I was 27. Maybe I would have had a better shot, but I did good. I hung in there. I got cut the last day. I hurt my knee, and it was a great experience.
It's amazing. I love the fact that you were able to find an environment where people were accepting. It just sounds like to me, and I fully understand your what you were going through. I think a lot of people have been there mentally, right? And it's nice to see that there is a way out. But you don't get that way out by doing the same thing over and over again, right? You say change your mindset, change your life, and I think that's Garen Jones wrote a book. You say it all the time. You had to change your mindset. You had to change what you thought was the right thing, to do, and you took steps. You took action steps, even if you didn't realize you were doing them.
I didn't realize I was doing it,
but
in my head, I'm like, I'm not screwing this up. I'm going to do everything I can to be the best. And I still feel that way. I still feel like there's other stuff I can do. Like what we're doing right now. We're getting on a YouTube thing, and we want to, help people. And, if they struggled like me, whether it's all the struggles that I had or just one of the struggles, if I can reach someone and help them, that's what we're doing, Jerry.
I love it. And I do think that that message, I think your story is beautiful, and there are very few people on the planet that have had one movie written and made about them, let alone two, let alone.
Actually, it was two documentaries, one on Netflix, which by the way was called Losers, and the feature film, which is a Hollywood movie, Blackjack, the Jackie Ryan story,
Amazing.
which is
And
out on iTunes, Amazon Prime, and Hulu, and other platforms.
I love it. And what is your YouTube channel? Blackjack Ryan, the Hoop Wizard?
Blackjack, the Hoop Wizard, or Blackjack Ryan, the Hoop Wizard.
It's fantastic. People can find you there. People can find you on Instagram as well. I think the best.
Instagram, BlackJack21 is Instagram.
I love it. And I think it's important too that you were taking steps that almost the universe was pushing you, and you know, God or whatever you believe in, right? I'm not trying to be religious.
I believe God has a purpose for you.
He
And it
pushed
took
you
me
in a
to
direction,
37.
right? He or
Pushed
she,
me. I'm
whatever.
here. I'm here,
I'm-
and then that nun confirmed it. You're doing God's work. You're making the children happy. Boom.
Unbelievable. It is so important, and you know, the whole concept of just changing your environment, changing the people that you were surrounded with, and how and the effect it had on your life, and the fact that you were now given a platform to be happy, and with that happiness, you started to achieve so much. You started going after, and you just expanded everything. You went from being this, I don't feel like I'm achieving anything, I feel like I'm a failure, to, oh my God, the potential is limitless. And I think that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I went from, I went from a nobody to becoming a Harlem Wizard, to start performing. I think I'm the only Harlem Wizard ever to do solo halftime shows. I know they've done halftime shows, but with two or three or maybe four guys. I think I'm the only one to do solo halftime shows. Then went on to become ESPN's 3-point shooting champion, and then 3-time Guinness record holder, and then getting these magazines for being a street ball player. Like, you know, the older I get, the better it gets. When I was growing up playing basketball, I loved basketball so much. I played because it made me feel good. I wasn't playing to say, oh, I hope someday I get in the magazine and people think I'm one of the greatest street ball players. No, I was just having fun. And later on in life, all these things are happening along with the entertainment part of basketball, which is, I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky, and I'm not stopping.
I love it. I love it. Well, if you want to see more of Jackie Ryan, please go to his YouTube channel, go to his Instagram page, and you'll see all kinds of crazy stuff. Jackie does tricks with everybody, every possible celebrity on the planet, and you'll have fun there. Jackie, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I look forward to continuing these conversations, my friend.
Awesome. Looking forward, Jerry. You're the best.
All right, my friend.